Hey guys, this is Gary and Charles. We built a PC version of Advance Wars, a popular game for Game Boy. I'm going to give you a brief explanation, and then Charles and I are going to play a game and get into more detail. Our version of this turn-based strategy game starts with the red player in the upper left corner, and the blue player in the bottom right. There are 3 types of buildings. Each player has 1 headquarters. If a player's headquarters is captured, they lose the game. Each player also starts with 2 cities and 2 bases. Every building generates income for its owner each turn. A player can use this income to produce units from their bases, to attack enemy units, and capture enemy buildings. There are also a number of neutral bases and cities throughout the map that players can capture and use. There are 4 unit types, but rather than get into that right now, we're just going to start a game. I'm going to play as the red player.
Hey, it's Charles, and I'll be playing as a blue player.
I'm going to start off by selecting one of my bases and building a mech. I'll save the rest of my money and just end my turn.
And I will be building 2 infantry on my bases, so 1 there and 1 over here. And I'll save the rest for later.
So I now have $7,000, so I'll select my other base and build a tank. And when I click on this tank, it can't move anywhere because there's a cooldown period once you just build a unit. But my other unit has been there for a turn, so I'll move that.
And I'll click on this unit, and so you can see that there's a red square around the city, which is neutral, which means that this infantry can capture it. And so I'll capture that neutral base. And then with my other infantry, I'll move west 3 units. And finally, I'll build an artillery and save the rest for later.
So I'm not going to build any more units in the interest of this demo. I will instead click on this tank to move it, and as you can see, the tank can move farther along the road than the planes, and that's because the different terrains in this game have different costs for movement, and we just do a simple graph search to determine where a unit can move. So I'll move along that road, and I'll move this other unit too.
Alright, and with this infantry, I'll move it closer to the neutral bases in the center. And my other units, I'll advance them west and finish my turn.
So I'll start off by clicking on this tank, and there are a couple things here. One is that the tank can't move on the mountains, and tanks and artillery can't move on mountains, only foot units can. And another thing is, when the tank is selected, these buildings, even though they're neutral and can be captured, aren't highlighted as red, and that's because tanks and artillery can't capture buildings, only foot units can. So I'm just going to take this tank and keep moving it east, and I'll move my mech as well.
Alright, and so this infantry is in capturing distance of the neutral base in the center, so I'll just capture that base, and I'll move my other units west. And notice how my artillery can't move past this unit because you can block your own units in this game, and I'll end my turn.
So I will move towards his infantry in the center to attack it next turn, and I'll capture a base, or a city.
Alright, and with this infantry I'll capture another base, just build another InMech from the most recently captured base, and I'll move my other units to attack his mech later, and I'll just build some more stuff for fun.
So now I'm within attacking distance of his infantry. I'll move up to it and attack. Now when I attack his unit as a defender also after that attacks back, but because he has only 1 hit point left, he doesn't do much damage. And I'll keep defending this city and end my turn.
Alright, and so I'll take my mech, move it right next to his tank, and then I'll attack that as well. And notice how my hit points are higher than his because I have first attacker's advantage. Also, I'll take my artillery, and notice how I can attack his mech even though it's not right next to my artillery, and that's because this is an indirect unit, so it attacks units that are 2 or 3 units away from it. And so I can just attack it, and then I'll finish his mech off with my infantry. So I'll move up there and kill it off.
So things are looking pretty bad for me, so I'll give up around now, and I'll just attack things with my tank and continue.
Alright, given that, I'm just gonna advance my infantry towards his headquarters so I can capture it in the future, and that will be my game plan.
So I'll try to wear myself down against his mech.
In the meantime, I'll just show that I can capture enemy bases and cities as well, so I'll just capture the city right here.
And I'm done.
Alright, and so now that my infantry is in capturing distance of the headquarters, I can just go on top of it and capture it. Now it's mine, and now once I end turn, I win the game.
And that's our version of Advance Wars.